Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important example for directives or block directives. So in this session, we are going to talk about switch, case and default. Okay. If you remember, in previous sessions we discussed about for, if, which are alternatives of ngIf, ngFor and ngSwitch. Okay. So now some of you might be thinking like we already have covered the ngSwitch case, then why we are learning about the switch? Because this is the updated thing, right? So those who are using the Angular version 17 plus, let's say 17 plus version 19 or anything, so in that case they can utilize this @switch directive. Okay, so I think now this thing is clear that what we are going to learn and why we are going to learn. Now how we are going to proceed in the session, we are going to proceed in the similar way. Firstly, I'll explain you the requirement. We will discuss on modules as well, like do we really need any module here or not. Okay, and we will discuss about the benefits of using this ngSwitch. We will create one example from scratch and then we will try to implement it with the help of ngSwitch, and we will verify the output as well. So these are the all things that we are going to do in this particular session. But before we proceed further, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to use switch with Angular. Okay, alright, so let's get started. Firstly, we will go to app.component.ts file. Here in this file, what we will do, we will simply write the required variable. Why? Because whenever you are using block directives, there is no need of declaration of any module. Clear? So there is no need to declare any modules, and this is one of the interview question as well. You might be asked with this question like, do we need any kind of module for this directives? So you can simply say no, there is no need to declare any directive, because this directive comes by default. Clear? Fine. Now this is the one difference between ngSwitch and switch, because in case of ngSwitch we were declaring the common module, we were using the common module, but here in this case we don't need to use common module. Alright, so as we don't need the common module, so let's write the further logic. So here what I'll do, I'll create one variable with the name status. We will store value, let's say as loading. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll simply store one value here, let's say loading. Perfect. So this is the variable which I have declared here. Now on the basis of this value only, I'm going to plan the further logic. So let's go to app.component.html file. Here one heading is already coming, Angular Directives demo by Tech Sharmit. After that, what I'll do, I'll put another heading, and in this heading I'll write switch case and default directive in Angular 17 plus. Why I mentioned this thing? Because I just want to make it very clear to you that this is applicable only where you are using Angular version 17 plus. Okay, that means 19 or the version that comes after Angular 17, you can use it. Okay, fine. Now next thing what we are going to do, we are going to create a switch case. So for that you just need to write a simple syntax. Just write here @ then you can write switch, and in the switch condition you can put the variable on the basis of which you are going to decide what to show. So I want to decide this on the basis of status. So what I'll do now, I'll write here status. In this curly braces, I can simply print I can simply use @case to define my first case. In this first case, I want to show this message, I want to check this message loading. If it's loading, then we will simply print one message, the page is loading. Perfect. So this is the message which I want to show, the page is loading. Now let's verify this thing. So for that you can simply write here ngserve -open and enter. Wait for few seconds, it will check the content, and if there is any error it will throw the error. Otherwise you can see it is showing the message. So we are able to get the both headings, which is Angular Directives demo by Sharmit, switch case default directive in Angular 17 plus, and the message is coming as the page is loading. Clear? Fine. Now maybe let's say instead of loading we are getting any other value. So in that case what will happen? Let's say instead of loading we are getting completed. So in this situation what we will show, like as of now we are not getting anything because we have mentioned only one case. So it's time to define the second case, and for second case you can simply write here case, and here we will write completed, and in this completed we will simply write P is for paragraph. Then we will write the page loading is completed. Okay, so this is the message which I want to show. Perfect. So now you can see the page loading is completed. Now my another question is, let's say our status is neither loading nor completed. So in that case what will happen? So let's say instead of loading and completed we put ABC or maybe test. So this is not a valid status, right? So in such scenario what will happen? It will show nothing. So are you going to create another case with test? Let's say maybe some of you might be thinking like we can define another case, and here we can check if it is a test, then we can show invalid option. Maybe you are thinking in that way, right? So this is not a correct thing. Why? Let me show you. So right now you are getting invalid option, that is fine, but it is considered as a case. This is not a default condition. So let's say if you go to TS file and if you change test to ABC, so in that case we will again face the same issue. You are not getting anything. So are you going to create another case with ABC? Then how much time you will spend and how many cases are needed in that case, because we don't know what user are going to use, right? So in such cases, in such scenarios, what we will do, we will simply use here at default, and this at default will help us to print the message which will be printed in all default cases. And remember one thing, here in this default there is no need to declare any condition. In case of cases, yes, you need a condition, like here we are checking completed, here we are checking loading, but in case of default there is no need. Why? Because this is a default condition. Doesn't matter what value you are getting if the value is not matched with the previous cases like loading and completed. So in that case it will simply go in this section and it will show unknown status. Okay, this message we will get. Perfect. Now you can save it and refresh it. So you can see unknown status, and it will work for all other extra cases. Let's say instead of ABC again we are getting the value as test, it will work. If you are getting any other value, let's say XYZ, still it will work. Why? Because these all cases are considered as a default case, and in case if you are getting the value as loading, so in that case it will show the page is loading. And remember one thing, this is a case sensitive. That means if you are going with small l, it will show unknown status. Why? Because loading is not matched with capital L, because here we are checking the capital L. So that is the important thing. Okay, always make sure that you are writing everything in a proper cases, otherwise it won't work. And same goes with this thing also. Let's say in keyword if you make capital C, it won't work. It will give you this error. Switch block can only contain at case or default blocks. Okay, so this is your responsibility to provide the correct cases wherever you are writing the logic. So that's the one thing regarding the switch cases and default cases. Now as of now we are just writing only one message to show the output, right? But in case when you are working in a project, then you are going to create some components and you are going to call those components as per the requirement. You are going to show some different logic screens, right? So that is up to you, and that is up to the requirement of the project. But today we just mainly discussed about the syntax and structure. Now maybe some of you might be thinking like what we are going to use in future. Are we going to use the switch cases, ngSwitch, or are we going to use the this thing what we say at switch? So yes, if you are going to use if you are using Angular 17 plus, then I would request you and suggest you and recommend you to use only at switch instead of ngSwitch. Why? Because this is the updated thing, this is the modernized thing. But if you are using the older cases older versions of Angular, then obviously you are not supposed to use this because this is not applicable there. Okay, so always try to adopt the modernized thing instead of older things. So yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.